Hello, my name is Holly Duff, and I'm one of the directors of West Coast Chamber Music. And we're in the midst of planning the last concert of our 2021 season, and it's entitled Clarinet, Cello, and Piano Trios, a beautiful program. And it will be available to view virtually on the weekend of April 23rd to 26th. And you can always purchase tickets from our website, westcoastchambermusic.com. And so we thought we would continue our interview series today. And I would like to introduce you to the clarinetist for this program. And I have her here with me, and we're delighted to have her. And I'd like you to say hello to Michelle Anderson. Hi,
Hello,
Michelle.
everyone. Hi, Holly. Hi, everybody watching.
It's so nice to have you and be able to talk to one of the musicians of the program and be able to find out a little bit about you and and how you've come into the music world. So I wanted to start with your early background, like when did you start to play the clarinet and what attracted you to that instrument?
My father was actually a school band teacher, so I was exposed to musical instruments my entire life. And when I was a toddler, someone gave me this little black plastic, kind of like a recorder. It was called a tonette that I absolutely loved. And so, school band, when I was 11, when we had a choice, that's just the one I picked. And we happened to have one in the closet because my mom had played in high school. So my parents were actually quite relieved because they already had the instrument. But so I think I was attracted to it from a very early age, if I look at my 2-year-old self.
Well, it's interesting the kind of affinity that we can have from early ages with our instruments. Oh, that's really cool. So you started in high school as a high school band student and then went from there, right? And
That's right.
and Michelle has played with many groups in Vancouver and the Lower Mainland area, such as the Vancouver Opera Orchestra. She's been principal there for a number of years. Also, the
Or not
Lionsgate.
principal, but I'm a regular player with them. Yeah.
A player with them. Okay, pardon me. The Lionsgate Symphonia with the Pacific Symphony Wind Ensemble, and of course West Coast Chamber Music. She's played for our group for a number of years, about 7 years, I think now, as well as other groups in town. And she's been on tour all over the world with different groups too at different times in her career. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about any highlights about your performing career.
You know, I absolutely love performing in a variety of ways, and I think chamber music is one of my very, very favorite ways to play because for me, I get a thrill of playing music with other people and the communication that happens. But in a chamber group, I also feel like every person has an artistic voice that's heard really well. And when I first started clarinet with my first clarinet teacher, there were two record albums that we had to buy. And one of them was a young clarinetist named David Schifrin. And I loved his album so much. I played it probably until the grooves were worn through. And I would say a highlight for me, he was the artistic director of Chamber Music Northwest, which is a big chamber music festival in Portland for 40 years. And as his big retirement project, he decided to have a festival that was all clarinets. And he just told them, I want to invite people that I want to play with. And so I was invited there, partly in my role as teacher, but also to perform. And when the poster came out with artists, it just happened that my picture was right beside his. And that was my secret thrill, playing with my childhood hero. And it was a whole festival of wonderful music. And I think that's going to stand out as a highlight for me as a clarinet geek
Oh,
of
that's
just
cool.
being there
Yeah.
with my clarinet hero.
Well, it's interesting how our mentors can inspire us for a whole lifetime and can be so significant in the paths that we take. So that's an interesting story, for sure. The other thing that you've done in your life, which you told me about a number of years ago, is you were a founder and teacher with your online um, uh, platform or program, I guess you call it, Clarinet Mentors. And I remember a number of years ago now, you telling me about this and saying, "Oh, I've been teaching these people online, way off in the Philippines or some other different countries in the world." And I just thought that was so interesting. And when this pandemic hit us and we started to do our online teaching, I thought of you right away, and I thought, well, Michelle's gonna be one person this is not going to be a problem for. The rest of us had to figure out how to do an online lesson, and Michelle had a toe in there, right? Could you tell us a little bit about this school of yours, because it's so interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So it started with me just posting some YouTube videos of my favorite teaching pointers, at the request of some of my students. And it quickly started attracting people from all over the world who would write to me in very remote regions where they had a clarinet but no teacher, and how much they appreciated it. And that sort of evolved into me having courses, that self-study courses people could buy online. And then I started some live interactive teaching. So this dates back to the end of 2012. So
Hmm.
I guess I was an early music online person, but where I really felt the impact was this last year in the pandemic. Myself and many musicians I know were suddenly cut off from our musical communities and performing with others. And so I started a series of really intense group coaching, where I'd put people in groups of 20, and we'd have 2 live trainings a week. And they were basically online master classes. But the most wonderful thing has happened. Some people have been in this for the whole year, and they're filming duets and trios, but one of them's in France and one of them's in Australia and one of them's in New Jersey, and they'll post these trio videos once a week. And it's really helped for me fill the gap of musical community. And there are limitations to making music online for sure, but it's been a real gift in what would have otherwise been a really isolating year. And I'm really grateful to have that experience.
Yes, indeed. Yes. I'm glad that the clarinet world is very happy to have you worldwide too. So that's a really neat thing. And then we're playing this program coming up. We've got 3 wonderful trios that we've been working on, and it's been a lot of fun rehearsing them. What can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to be hearing on
Yeah,
the whole
absolutely.
weekends in April? Yeah.
So I have to say that as I love chamber music, but clarinet, cello, and piano is my favorite chamber trio that I love to play with. And the Brahms trio, which we'll be playing, I've performed many times and I absolutely love it. It's one of my most favorite pieces. And I think for people listening, one of the things Brahms is so brilliant at is creating rich tone colors and changes of mood, and this interplay between the instruments is nonstop, and it can be very challenging for us as players. And yet, the more we get to know the nuances of the music, it really allows us to have fun. And I'll hear Holly do something, and I'll smile and try and echo it, and then suddenly I look, and then Becky picks it up, and so it's a wonderful piece. And I think the slow movement is one of the most beautiful slow movements of chamber music. So I'm really looking forward to that piece. The Brook, interesting, both the Brahms and the Brook were written for clarinetists, or with clarinetists in mind. So I always feel good about that, even though they're great parts for piano and cello. Brook wrote this series of salon pieces for his son, and there are 8 of them, although they weren't meant to be played as a set. And so the 4 we're playing, uh, I think the one called the Romance, I absolutely love. It's beautiful, romantic, expressive, kind of reminds me of gypsy soul music, and it's
And
that.
that's the one you're starting with. You're opening the set with that one.
Yeah, I think it's just a beautiful one. And the new piece to me is the Seven Balkan Dances. I had never even heard of this piece, and I've done a lot of research for this combination. And I believe it was originally written for piano, and that's how they're most known. So, what's really fun for me is they're just short little pieces that are so charming and so beautifully and deceptively challenging. Our goal as players is to make them sound easy, but there's so much markings in my music, it's hard to play. And one of the things for me as a player in a mixed chamber ensemble like this is I need to blend with other people. So playing a piece that's written for piano, my goal is to sometimes approach it the way a piano player would, which is different from the way a clarinetist would. So I'm approaching styles differently. In the Brahms, I find myself trying to play like a cellist, and I love that challenge of adapting to just different ways of expressing the music. But I think it's a really charming program. I'm really looking forward to playing it.
Yes, as am I. And the timbre, the rich timbre of cello, clarinet, and piano is really quite wonderful. It's one of my favorite combinations as well. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing some of your thoughts with us today. And I look forward to performing this program with you. I'm one of the pianists along with Alan Crane. And our cellist is Becky Wenham. And this program will be available on April 23rd, Friday at 5 o'clock, and will be available up until midnight on Monday, April 26th. And you can purchase a ticket right up until, I think, 10 o'clock on that Monday to view the concert. And we hope that you all very much enjoy it. Please do visit our website. It's westcoastchambermusic.com, and you can purchase tickets from the website. Thank you so much, ladies and
Thank you,
gentlemen.
Holly. I'm really looking forward to this concert.
Thanks. Me too. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.